We return for a second day of the small groups on this Tuesday morning, and it really was a wonderful opportunity for us to come to an understanding of each other. We shared around the table our hopes and aspirations about the Synod and realized that, of course, there are disagreements among ourselves. But one aspect of the Synod that is emerging, at least in my own mind, is the important distinction the Holy Father talked about last Saturday. That is the Ecclesia Docens and the Ecclesia Decens. Docens means, of course, the teaching church, and Decens means the learning or listening church, the church that pays attention to those that are served. It's very important, I think, for us as bishops to keep in mind that we have this dual role, that of teaching what the church teaches, and yet at the same time listening to the sensus fidelium, listening to the faith of the people. They give us direction in how, in fact, the ancient church, the ancient teaching of the church can be made fresh and new in this time. Our discussion today allowed us to delve more deeply into that, and we did finish going through the Instrumentum Laboris, submitting our final report. What's nice is that we have this afternoon a gathering of the General Assembly, but tomorrow is a free day, and so we're going to be able to get some rest, catch up with work back at home, which I can tell you has been piling up, but also take care of those personal needs that we all have of maybe just getting some rest or going out and buying a few souvenirs. But it's great to have this opportunity once again to make this report, and I'll be back to you on, I think, Thursday. We won't give a report tomorrow, but we'll be back on Thursday to offer a report to you.
I want to talk today about the method of the Synod, and this dovetails what Archbishop Cupich was talking about. So the Synod obviously is about marriage and family life. And there's a real message there, obviously, church teachings and doctrines and so forth. The message is clear. But it's interesting that what the Pope has offered by way of a method is not to play with the message or the doctrine, but rather those to take a look at those who receive the message and how it's received. So that's really the scope of the Synod, and it's an important method. And while in some sense it may seem to be new, it actually goes back to Pope John the 23rd when he opened the Second Vatican Council. He said, the deposit of faith is one thing, but the way that faith is presented is another. A way that enables it to be received and lived by people. So that's the overall direction of the method of the Synod. Now, two things, finally. One is, in news reports, perhaps you get a sense of some rumblings from the Synod, some disagreements. Well, yes, there are, but I think the root of that is that people are still appropriating, the participants in the Synod are still appropriating this method that has to do with a continuous focus on those who receive the message, not tinkering with the message at all. That's set, that's clear, that's our faith. But how is it received? How is it grasped? And the second thing I think that is important is that this method, I think, can transfer very well into our own diocese, the Archdiocese of Chicago, and into our own parishes, where we begin to take a look and pray over and reflect upon the ways in which that message, which has perennial validity and truth, can be absorbed and appropriated.